We're now going to have a look at indices. Now, the basic rules of indices are these. If you're multiplying numbers, you add the indices. So for instance, if you had x squared times x to the 5, that becomes x to the 7. If you're dividing numbers, you subtract the indices. So if you had x5 divided by x2, becomes x to the 3. And if you have a power to a power, it means you multiply the indices. For example, if you had x cubed squared, becomes x to the 6. I want to show you exactly where those numbers come from. If I look at the first one, x squared means x times x. X to the 5 means you've got another 5 of them. So altogether, you've got 7 of them, which is why when you multiply the numbers, you add the indices. If I look at the second one here, subtracting the indices, you've got 5 x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're dividing it by 2 x's, they cancel, giving you x cubed on the top. And a power to power, if you imagine what this means x cubed times x cubed. So 3 of the x's, another 3 of the x's gives you 6 altogether. And another rule you need to remember is the power of 0, the answer is always 1. So for instance, if you had x0, the answer is 1. 1,000,000 to the power of 0, the answer is 1. 0.5 to the power of 0, the answer is 1. So if you ever see the power of 0, the answer is always 1. Now the next bit here is for T4 people only. Negative power, this means 1 over the positive power. So for example, x to the minus 2 means 1 over x squared. And the last one you have to know is a fraction power. The bottom of the fraction tells you what root to find. The top of the fraction tells you the power. So if you had x to the 3 over 2, the bottom of your fraction is a 2, so that means the second root or the square root of x, and then the top is telling you to cube your answer. Now we're going to have lots of examples here of these type of questions. So, simplifying. Do your numbers first. It's 3. You're dividing those letters, you'll subtract the powers. 6 take away 2 is 4. Number 2. Make sure when you're taking your squared through, you take it through to both terms. So that's 5 squared times g squared squared. So it's 25. Power to power means multiply to the power of 4. Do your numbers first. 72 divided by 12 gives you 6. R8 divided by R4, subtract the powers to give you 4. Number 4. There's no numbers to worry about, just do the letters alphabetically. P5 divided by P3, subtract them, gives you P2. Q9 divided by Q4 gives you Q5, just subtract them. Number 5 is an interesting one here. There's quite a clever wee trick for that one. 25 can be written as 5 squared, then square that. 5 on its own is just 5 to the power of 1, there's only 1 5. And 125 is the same as 5 cubed. So I could tidy that up by saying multiplying the numbers. So power to power, multiply the numbers, so that's the power of 4 times 5 1 over 5 3. Multiplying the numbers, add the powers, 5 5 over 5 3. Dividing numbers, subtract the powers to give you a final answer of 5 squared. Number 6, 1 over y squared. T4 people, you could write that as minus 2. A minus index lets you toggle between top and bottom, so that could be written as minus 2. This one here, dividing numbers, subtract the indices. So it's 5 minus minus 2, 5 plus 2, 7. This one here is quite a lot going on here. There's no power with that a, but there's only one of them, so put a 1 up there. So you're dividing numbers, subtract the powers. 2 take away 1 gives you 1. So that becomes a1 times a to the minus 1. Multiply numbers, add the powers. 1 add minus 1 becomes 1 take away 1, which is 0. Anything to the power of 0 goes down to 1. The next one here, dividing numbers, subtract the powers. 2.5 take away 0.5 gives you 2. This one here, multiplying numbers, add the powers. So that becomes minus 3 add a third. So 3 take away a third is 2 and 2/3, which is minus 2 and 2/3. So it's p to the minus 2 and 2/3. Now, the following would be T4 only. Now, if you look inside this, you've got a square root. I'm going to write that as 1 1/3, same as 4/3, times k to the 2/3, and square rooted. Multiplying the numbers, add the indices. 4/3 plus 2/3 is 6/3. 6/3 cancels down to 2, obviously. Now, I have got k squared. Square root means it's the power of a half. Power to power means multiply. 2 times a half is just 1. Number 12. Take your third through. So it's 64 to the third, W9 to the third. That means the third root of 64 to the power of 1, because the top is a 1. Power to power means multiply. 9 times a third, or a third of 9 is 3. The third root of 64 is 4, because 4 times 4 times 4 gives me 64. And then W cubed. Quite hard questions here. This one's a very similar one. I'm going to split that up into the third root of 64 and the third root of k to the 6. The third root of 64 is 4. The k to the 6, the cube root means it's the power of a third. 6 to the power of a third means multiply them. 6 times a third is 2, so it becomes 4k squared. That will be T4 work. Back to some easier stuff now, number 14. I'm looking at these numbers, and I know they're all powers of 2. 16 is 2 to the power of 4, 2a, times 2b, over 4 is 2 squared to the power of c, times 8 is 2 cubed to the power of 3a. So the top line will tidy up. Power to power means multiplies. That becomes 8a times 2b over 2 to the 2c times 2 to the 3 times 3a, because power to power means multiply, is 9a. Top line tidies up to give you 2. Add the indices, 8a plus b. Bottom line tidies up to give you 2c add 9a. You're dividing the 2, you subtract the powers. So that becomes 2, I'll just put over at the side. So it's 8a add b minus 2c add 9a. So 8a add b minus 2c minus 9a tidies up. 8a minus 9a is minus 1a plus b plus 2c. Or sorry, minus 2c. That's a very difficult example there, to be fair. It's very hard. Right, this is a little bit easier now. 10 to the 0 is 1. This one here, multiply numbers, add the powers. Minus 2 add 3 is just 1. So you write it as 3 to the 1, or you can write it as 3. Question 17, now it's inside the red box, so we're back on to T4 stuff. The bottom of your fraction tells you the root. So it's a cube root of 8, and then square it. The cube root of 8 is 2, and then square it gives you 4. Minus means 1 over. Okay? 1 over a fraction is the same as turning it upside down. Power of 3. 3 cubed is 27 over 1. You do not have any rules for decimal indices, but you should know that decimals and fractions are linked together. So I could write that as 6 over 10, which cancels down, divided by 2, 3 over 5. Bottom of your fraction tells you the root, so it's the fifth root of 32 cubed. Fifth root of 32 is 2, cube it, gives you 8. Power to power means multiply. Just let me look at that one. It's going to be a wee bit too awkward, so we'll leave that one out.